Availability of documents. Many documents are still in place. These
include post-mortem reports, photo albums, inquest records where inquests were previously held, dockets, and prison records. Another issue that we have is the age of the witnesses. Many of the witnesses who are still available are old as a result of age. Then we've got the unavailability of witnesses and or all serious and complex corruption cases are dealt with mainly by the Specialized Commercial Crime Unit, which is commonly referred to as the SCCU. This unit is fully capacitated with 3 deputy directors of public prosecutions, one of them being a regional head. There are 14 senior state advocates approaching these complex commercial crime cases. The division is focused on the enrollment of corruption cases, especially those that will have an impact for this division. Corruption cases are coming from all over the province. The unit has recently enrolled several impactful cases that deal with corruption charges against government officials and private sector officials. We are also focusing on the clean audit cases arising from the municipalities, as also arising from the SIU referred cases. In some of the recent cases, SIU has also been engaged and also forms parts of these PGI sessions. The reason for involving the SIU is because they've often conducted the preliminary investigations leading to the referral of these cases. They also have consulted with some of the witnesses and or persons of interest. SCCU has received 16 SIU referrals in this financial year. 6 of these cases have been referred to DPCI to open case dockets. In 3 of the 16 referrals, we have declined to prosecute. In 7 of the SIU referrals, the prosecutors are guiding the investigations. There is a total of 7 SIU cases that are presently on the court roll. Some noteworthy SCCU cases are the State versus Lonwabo Maka and another. Accused 1 in this matter is the former municipal manager of the Jozini local municipality. It is alleged that in 2014, Maka created a need for a youth uplifting program. He sourced and awarded the contract to Accused 2's company. Accused 2's company had not been registered as a service provider on the municipal database and did not participate in a proper tender process before the contract was awarded. The accused appeared in the 15 September 20. Accused 1 and 2 caused the newcomer to incur irregular and wasteful expenditure. This case has been postponed to the 1st of November 2021 in the Specialized Commercial Crime Contract to supply plant equipment for the upgrade of a road in the Nongoma area. Accused 2, the engineer, allegedly inflated the plant hire hours, and as a result, the Department of Transport was allegedly defrauded an amount of approximately 1.6 million rands. This matter has been postponed to 29 November 2022 for a regional court date. This was also one of KwaZulu Natal's 6 months priority cases. Some of the finalized SCCU cases is the State versus Sipho Shabalala. The accused is found guilty of fraud, corruption, money laundering, and contravening the Public Finance Management Act. The accused was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. The offences were committed whilst he was a government employee for the KwaZulu-Natal Treasury. His conviction is regarding his receipt of formed a relationship with Mr. Savoy and Savoy's company, Intaga Investments. Then we've got the matter of the State versus Eunice Mula. The deceased operated a Ponzi scheme. Fraud, theft, contravening Section 7 of the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act, money laundering, contravening Section 11 of the Bank Act in that he conducted a business of a bank while he was not registered as a bank. The accused had recruited people to invest in his company called Carmel Distributors. He claimed that his company was dealing in petrol and diesel. He promised his investors a monthly profit of 2%. It was discovered that the company was not registered to operate as a financial service institution. A case of fraud was registered and investigated.
The accused has been found guilty and sentenced to 15 years. These are just some of the
10 years. These are just some of the cases which have been successfully finalized by this unit during this financial year. There are many others. In fighting and uprooting corruption in KwaZulu-Natal, the chief prosecutors in their respective clusters were also requested to identify cases as their 6 months priority corruption cases. The fight against corruption in this province cannot only be dealt with by the SCCU. Training has been rolled out to the clusters to capacitate the prosecutors on how to deal with these corruption cases. Durban cluster has got 4 priority cases it identified. Pietermaritzburg cluster has got 3 priority cases it identified. Empangeni cluster has 13 priority cases it identified. Ntuzuma cluster has got 2 priority cases it identified. The Northern KwaZulu-Natal cluster has 2 of these priority cases. None of the clusters have been able to finalize any of their priority cases. Chief prosecutors have set up dedicated prosecutors within their respective clusters who will deal with these matters. The High Court General Section has also been given corruption cases to deal with. They also are busy with some of the corruption matters. The asset forfeiture work. There has been an improved collaboration and engagement with the AFU. Prosecutors are now identifying cases which have got asset forfeiture prospects. As I have already noted, during the 2021 July unrest, businesses were looted. A project was immediately set up to identify the criminal cases where motor vehicles had been used to transport the stolen items. In KwaZulu-Natal, the prosecutors referred several matters to AFU for them to determine whether the unit would be successful in bringing applications for preservation orders in some of the cases. AFU records that they received a total of 167 dockets. They have been able to secure a total of 28 preservation orders. The total value of the preservation orders regarding the looting cases presently stands at approximately 3 million rands. There are no forfeiture orders as yet, and the first one, as already been noted, will be done in November 2022 in regards to the Mercedes-Benz for the crime. On 9 September 2022, Natal AFU was granted a restraint order for a house belonging to Nandi Sakile Msimang. The house is valued at 1.1 million rand and is situated in a retirement village in Pretoria. Msimang is alleged to have prejudiced the KZN Department of Health for an amount of 31.2 million. This is a tender-related matter between Msimang and the Department of Health. Apart from this house, the AFU is still also in the process of seeking further assets, as the order granted is valued at 31.2 million. The asset forfeiture unit with its asset recovery powers is a key tool in the NPA's fight against corruption, and it will continue to do so diligently, especially in instances where state funds which were earmarked for service delivery have been diverted for private gains. It is hoped that the restraint will result in the proceeds of this crime being recovered back to the state through the forfeiture orders. Gender-based violence in KwaZulu-Natal. The province is also looking at certain performance under the subject heading of gender-based violence. The conviction rates in sexual offense cases services provided at Tutuzelas. The NPA is planning to withdraw. We also look at the number of cases finalized. FCS and any other party required at these TRC meetings may be invited to the structure. Challenges associated with the enrollment of sexual offense cases are also discussed at these structures. reasons, the SPP decided to continue with the trial. At the trial, the complainant took the oath and thereafter indicated she would not be giving evidence. The accused was acquitted in this matter. There are several other matters where we are faced with a similar position. The unavailability of DNA reports. KwaZulu-Natal does not have an operative forensic science laboratory. Therefore, all samples gathered are sent to other provinces. At the moment, we are relying on the DNA project being run from the NPA National Office. This project started in October 2020. The division forwards its lists of outstanding cases where DNA is required to the National Office. The National Office then liaises with the FSL on the list submitted. We are fortunate enough to report as KwaZulu-Natal that we have received over thousands of these reports. Some of the reports are indicating that the accused DNA has been linked to other cases within KwaZulu-Natal, and in some instances, such a person can be classified as a serial rapist. The NPA is looking at this, has started to engage with the traditional leadership on the issues of GBV in the outlying areas.